Today on our expert segment, we are going to look at how senior citizens who are looking out for a pension product for their twilight years need to just look closer home. Senior citizens can mortgage their house and get tax-free income for life. This kind of a product is called a reverse mortgage loan. Let's bring in our expert to help us understand this scheme. We are joined by Karthik Javeri, Director, Transcend Consulting India Private Limited. Karthik, thank you so much for joining us today. We first have a question coming in from a viewer, Dinesh Kapoor. Let's listen in to him and answer his question. Hi, Dinesh. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. It was 2 minutes late because I just arrived from heavy traffic outside. Anyway, I'm glad I reached home. It was in 2000, reverse mortgage loan was introduced in India. Okay. I was living in Miami at that time, and I was very happy. So I came back in 2009, and ever since I've applied and meeting managers from 5 nationalized banks where this scheme was introduced, where this scheme implemented. It's not all the nationalized banks that would give you, but only a few banks. So I went to about 5 banks, and these banks would take 4 out of 5 had not even heard of it. Those who had heard of it gave me, some of them gave me, at least some of them gave me their circular to read it and explain it to them, what it is all about. Okay. And then, when I went there with an application telling them about, they came up with ridiculous conditions, like, for example, I meet all the requirements. I'm a senior citizen, I live in my own house, it's not mortgaged. Mine probably is the cleanest proposal they could have. But then they would say, they would put dampers like, we want the wills to be signed by your spouse.
Are you saying you haven't received any satisfactory response from the lenders? You are completely eligible for a reverse mortgage loan. All right, let's bring in Karthik on this. Karthik, before we answer Dinesh's query, first, let's help us understand what is the reverse mortgage loan scheme for all our other viewers who don't know how this product works.
Okay, so the reverse mortgage is a very beautiful sort of a product. Look at it the reverse of normally what would you do when you buy a home loan. So when you're buying a home and you don't have the money to pay, you go to a housing finance company or a bank and you borrow some money. And they give you money and you pay an EMI to the company. And that's how a regular loan works. Reverse mortgage is quite the opposite. So what's happening here is you are already the owner of a property. Say the property is worth 1 crore rupees. And you now want to have some sort of a monthly income to help your pension, to help your lifestyle, whatever it be the case. So you go to a bank or a housing finance company and offer your property to them. They will value your property and will sanction you a loan amount equal to about 60% of your capital value. Which is to say that a 1 crore property, you would be eligible for a 60 lakh reverse mortgage. Now, you may choose how you would like to receive these payments. You could have a monthly installment coming to you, or a quarterly, or a half-yearly, annually, depending on what are the terms of the product from the bank or the housing finance that you are going to take this mortgage from. Alternatively, this entire money could also be given to an annuity company, such as a life insurance company, if you prefer it that way. And then that annuity company will start paying you an annuity, or that essentially that insurance company will start paying you a small annuity every month. So this is typically how a reverse mortgage works. In other words, and in one sentence, it is like you are mortgaging your house to the bank brick by brick, which means small payments come to you every month, and that's the way it supports your loan. The interesting thing here is that every 4-5 years, your capital value is refreshed, which means if the capital value has actually gone up, you would then be eligible to get a higher payout, and which would to a certain extent take care of the inflation element of your lifestyle. So it's a beautiful product. You can return it when you want. The interest is then accumulated, and if you happen to die in the process, then the bank would recover their money by selling your property, or your legal heirs could actually buy the property back from the loan back from the bank by repaying your loan back. So these are the various possibilities that you could do with a reverse mortgage, and such are the benefits of such a product.
So it appears to be a win-win situation for both the lender and the borrower. But with regard to Dinesh's problem that we just heard, why is he not receiving any satisfactory response or enthusiastic response from lenders. Is it because the market for reverse mortgage loans in India is still very nascent? Lenders are still not aware of how really it works. What's the problem there?
There could be a multitude of issues really, because typically when a new product gets launched from the government angle, by the time it percolates down through the entire banking system, it unfortunately takes a pretty long time. And the kind of institutions which we have in our country, something's notified by the government, its announcement is made in Delhi. By the time the effect comes to an Indore or a Kerala or a Gwalior or somewhere else, it takes a long time. Often the branch managers, obviously, like he's saying, they are not even aware of some product like that. They don't even know how to operate. They don't have the internal guidelines of how to disburse such a loan. They don't have checks and procedures. Nothing is really in place. However, it is not so disappointing as well. What then tends to happen is you can go to housing finance companies, because housing finance companies which are regulated by NHB are your better bet. So banks are one entity which can give you a loan, and now you see the awareness and the insight on how to do this, procedures of how to do things are becoming much more clearer to the banks and lending institutions. Try some housing finance companies, that's what I would tell you. Also, there are a lot of people who are like loan brokers. You can speak to them. They are loan consultants. You can employ their services, and you don't have to pay them because the institution would probably pay them something. You could consult your financial planner. That's another way you can have somebody negotiate and represent you on your behalf. Also, at the same time, we must appreciate and understand, because it's a new product, just the way the banks don't understand it, even consumers don't understand a lot of things about this loan, and which is why sometimes they make allegations such as that the conditions that are placed are quite ridiculous, quite stringent. But that's how the product works. So on one side, while you have to have some benefit, on the other side there will be some hard conditions, and which will be operated in a certain manner. So you can't really argue with that. So it's an educational thing, both on the institution side as well as the consumer side. Also about the information of how to disburse percolating down, and there are consultants in the market who could help you actually solve this problem. And it's a beautiful product. You can negotiate, you can go up on your loan, you can reduce it, you can take a lump sum payment. There are so many facilities which are available on such loans. So I think all is not lost for Mr. Kapoor, and especially if you are living outside India, it gets a little more cumbersome to negotiate and manage things. Maybe you have a liaison person here who could do and speak to banks that are more well versed with such procedures.
Right. All right. So reverse mortgage loans, a beautiful product, as Karthik says, but suffering because of lack of actual clear understanding of this product. Karthik, thank you so much for joining us today.